Hey folks, it's Lyle. Before we get into the episode, I wanted to let you know that tickets are on sale now for Therapy Gecko Live in all of these cities, and you can get them at therapygeckotour.com before they sell out. The shows will involve bringing folks from the audience up on stage to talk to a gecko about whatever they want, just like we do in this podcast. These shows are completely unplanned, completely unpredictable, and they will be a lot of fun, so I hope to see you there. All right, let's get into the episode.
I'm in the military. I'm about to get out, actually.
Oh, yeah? What are you going to do when you're out?
I cook the pizza, you know what I'm saying?
You cook the pizza. You definitely cook the pizza. But anyway, man, I mean, what is it that you wanted to talk about?
So I've been struggling in my with my sexuality, that kind of dealio.
Hello?
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
What's your name, pal?
Oh, my name's Tony. How you doing?
Tony, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Like I said, not too bad. Just kind of hanging in there.
Okay. Well, listen, man. We can. I don't know if you know how any of this stuff works, but if we can, what do you want? Is there anything in particular you want to talk about today?
Oh yeah, well, actually, I have seen a few of your streams. You really do sound different over the phone as opposed to the stream.
Yeah, well,
it kind of caught me off guard for a second.
Well, everyone kind of sounds the same over the phone, so I guess that could be why. But but anyway, man, I mean, what is it that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. So I've been struggling in my love life, with my sexuality, that kind of dealio.
Sure. How so?
So I've always been straight. I've always considered myself straight, I suppose. And I was on Hinge. And I don't know, I ended up matching with somebody, and it turns out that they were a trans woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talking, and I did see it on a profile afterwards, and I was like, oh, that's cool, that's fine. I don't know what it was, but I just kept talking to her. We ended up going out to eat, and found her really interesting. Went on a couple dates, and I don't know. I just it's different. It is new for me.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't want to say it's scary or anything like that, but it's different for me.
Okay. So I guess tell me more about the kind of are you afraid of something? Are you how would you describe your struggle with this?
There is a little bit of I guess there's some sort of a stigma to it. I grew up,
sure.
I grew up Catholic, kind of became Christian over later. There was people in my family who were, homophobic, and I kind of grew up with that mindset for a while.
Sure.
I'm 26 right now. When I was in high school, though, when I got whatever high school age is, I got to a point where I was because I'd gone to a new church, and they were so loving and accepting. And I was like, oh, okay, this is great. And then I would see certain things, and I'd feel disgusted almost. And then I was like, wait a second, hold up, pause. This doesn't correlate. Why would it's supposed to be a loving message. Why would I feel this kind of way? Gross about it. So I kind of try to change my tune over time, which I did. It took some time, but I ended up I have family, I have friends, in the LGBT community. So I was able to overcome that, and then I just kind of ignored everything else over time. I did end up trying to experiment with a man before. I didn't really like it. It wasn't for me.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I matched with this person. I went out with them, and I don't know. I feel like the answer should be obvious, but like I keep like running in circles in my head.
Okay, so tell me, when you say you feel like the answer should be obvious, what is the answer that you feel should be obvious?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
Like I know, like my siblings, my cousins, like even my best friend. Like I know, like if they were to meet her, like everything would be like all good and great, you know.
Yeah.
My parents, like I feel like my parents though. I don't know how well that would go about if I ever like introduced her to them.
Sure. So you kind of know in your heart that you know, there's nothing wrong with you being attracted to who you're attracted to, but because of how you grew up and because of the people around you, you're having some dissonance with it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. So, what's your relationship like with your parents?
It's good for the most part. I love them, obviously. I do find my mom kind of annoying, which is a terrible thing to say. My dad, I don't know, because I caught him cheating, and I didn't talk to him about it. I kind of like, it was kind of like a thing that I caught on my phone, and I just kind of brought it to my mom right away. Yeah. And this was like 6-7 years ago. So they haven't been together since then. So he tries to act friendly with me, but I don't know if he still resents me or something for that.
Sure. So, man, listen, I think, this is a tough thing, like, freeing yourself from the judgment of your parents, but I feel like it's so necessary, right? Because you should be able to feel free to, you know, sexually and romantically engage with whoever it is that you want without having to run it by your parents at the age of 26. You know, and I don't even think you have to be like, well, fuck you, mom, fuck you, dad, you know, from that kind of place. I think you can just be like, listen, I love you guys, but you can't, you have no say in what I do with my own life.
Well, beyond how they would feel from it, because like, yeah, you know, honestly, like they haven't liked certain partners I've had in the past, so like it's like. That part is kind of like whatever, like it is a factor, but like I'm not like even like sexually, right, in the bedroom, like that's not like the first time that like, you know, we slept together, like that was very it was kind of jarring in a way. I don't know, like it was almost as if like I kind of turned my brain off and just kind of went with the flow almost. But like the person as a person, you know, intellectually or even like emotionally, like I'm there. But like when it comes to the physical aspect, it like is different. It's not what I'm used to. But like I don't know.
You shut you say you shut your brain down.
Yeah, almost like. You know, the first time I saw them, like we were like naked together, right? Like, I'm sorry, I know, like, I'm not saying anything super crazy here, but like, yeah, in that moment, it was kind of like, oh, you know, it's, you know, what we're working with down there. You know, it's different from what I'm like actually like normally attracted to.
So, all right, I'm picking up what you're putting down for sure. Okay, so. I mean, look, let me ask you, because I mean, so you are not sexually attracted to a certain set of genitals.
That's fair. That's a fair way to put it. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. How big of a deal is sex to you in a relationship? Is it important?
It is, but it's not like it's not my number one goal.
All right.
It's like it's a thing that people do, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that's not something I'm separated from.
Okay.
You know, I'm more of like a passionate, romantic, kind of like sensual person as opposed to like
I can
it's
tell.
all about sex.
I can tell. I hear it in your voice, Tony. You're a very passionate,
Much
sensual
appreciated.
guy. Well, listen, man. I mean, this is the thing is that you can't force yourself to be sexually compatible with someone, and I think when you get to this point where everything with this person lines up, except you guys aren't sexually compatible, then you almost have to weigh how important that is to you, because you don't want to end up resenting that. You know, and everyone can make their own decision as to how important that is to you.
Right. I mean, that does make sense after all.
Are you? What's kind of your the status with this person? Are you guys dating? Is there a label on it? How long have you been seeing each other?
I've been seeing it like our second date was actually New Year's. There's not an official label. We're like, you know, like we're dating, quote unquote, but we're not like an official couple or anything like that. I mean, I'm not talking to anybody else. She says she's not talking to anybody else. I do believe her in that regard, but that's where it is at the moment.
Apparently, you told the call screener, you said that you're debating experimenting with her penis.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so like I mentioned, that's not something that like I'm attracted to. That's not something that like I'm familiar with.
All right.
But I do genuinely have feelings for this person.
Yeah.
And you know, we have slept together, and it's mostly like I mean, it's just the basic, you know, bada bing, bada boom, you know?
Yeah.
And
very sensual, very bad.
I do want to like I want to make sure that, you know, she has like enjoyment, you know, like I actually like legitimately care that like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
yeah.
I was thinking to myself, like I would be, I guess, willing to like, you know, do something I wouldn't actually normally do.
Okay.
In general for this person.
Okay. How so let me ask you this. So you're open to experimenting to you know, sexual acts involving the penis. You have how much have you experimented already so far?
Oh man, I mean, if there's no filter here, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I was hanging out with like actually somebody who I loosely work with. It was a drunk moment. We were you know, a bunch of people went out. We were partying. We had a hotel room. Nobody brought in any women, right? Like, you know, it was all dudes. We went out, like the goal was, you know, go get some women. Nobody got women.
Yeah.
Me and this dude were awake. You know, there was kissing involved. He was like, you know, touching me and everything. And I couldn't bring myself to do more than that. But like, I definitely didn't like really enjoy that, truthfully.
Okay.
That's really it.
Well, Tony, look, I think it's I don't know. This is a tough issue, right? Because I mean, look, the whole like, forget about the kind of underlying aspects of this, like just the idea of being romantically and intellectually attracted to somebody, but not being sexually compatible with them is a tough one.
Right.
And I don't know. I would consider how important that is to you, and also, like you said, you want her to feel pleasure as well, and you should consider the idea that part of her sexual pleasure would probably involve a partner who is very sexually excited about them, and if that's not you, and you know that you can't force that to be you, then you almost do her a disservice by continuing to kind of will yourself through sleeping with her, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I see what you're saying.
But to all the other points that you were talking about, I do hope that you're able to. I'm glad that you're kind of abandoning all the programming that you grew up with that is like acting as a barrier between you and these new experiences. That sounded like it might have been a tough thing to do.
No, absolutely.
Tony, what do you do for a living? I'm very curious about you as a person.
I'm in the military. I'm about to get out, actually.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do when you're out?
I don't know. Pick up the family business, probably. I want to go back. I went to, like, this is gonna sound so stupid. I went to school at first. I went to college for like 3 years, joined the military because I was not in a good place in life. I was studying criminal justice, a little bit of psychology, a little bit of culinary art. You know, I love cooking. Family has a restaurant. And I could see myself picking it up, you know, taking over from my dad, you know, running with it. I mean, to be honest, I feel like that's the too easy option, you know? It's just, oh yeah, pick up some established business and just run with it, which I believe I will enjoy it, but you know, it's not like there is a desire to do something like on my own, as opposed to just, you know, picking up something already established.
Yeah. What do you want to do on your own, Tony?
That's a very good question. I mean, I do like cooking. You know, if I were to do it on my own.
I was going to say, I was really hoping you were going to want to open a restaurant called Tony's.
Hey, you know, Fat Tony's or something like that. That'd be kind of funny, huh?
Tony, if you have any inkling of a desire to open up a restaurant called Tony's, I want to be the guy that convinces you to do it.
I mean, you know, I cook the pizza. You know what I'm saying?
You cook the pizza. You definitely cook the pizza. Oh, you said you like cook. What do you cook? What do you cook, Tony?
I do mostly cook pastas. I make a lot of sauces. I've dabbled in like Italian I'm not, you know, Italian Mexican fusion. I feel like it works really well. To be honest, I make,
what happens? What happens in Italian Mexican? What is an Italian Mexican fusion dish?
You can take any sauce, right? Any pasta dish. You know, you just add a couple of things in there. You know, I mean, if you want to be the most basic, jalapenos, right? I've made this weird lasagna with like, well, this is more, it's less Mexican, but like with like plantains, right? As opposed to like pasta noodles or whatever, the lasagna noodle, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That shit is a banger. You can mix oregano with cilantro, vice versa. You know, just throw in a little bit of those ingredients in there, you know, substitute for chorizo or whatever, and it just all kind of brings itself together.
All right. Hear me out on this. Chicken Parmesan tacos.
I've made those.
You have?
I've made those.
What are they like?
You know, I feel like the idea of it worked a little bit better than the. I mean, maybe I gotta like try it again. You know, I feel like I can make it work. You know, when people get chicken parmesan, you know, it's not like it's a piece of chicken that you cut up yourself. It's not already pre-cut. It's not shredded. You the name of it, the idea of it, it's like a dream. You know, there's a way to make it work. I've been 4 years in the military. I don't have a kitchen right now. So like, it's mostly like I'm fucking around, you know, cooking, or like if there's a barbecue, something going on. But once I go home, that's when I'm going to be able to actually cook and experiment and do things again. I signed my life away for 4 years. Anybody out there, just real quick, if you're thinking about joining the military, don't do it. And if you do it, don't join the Navy or the Marine Corps. That's all I got to say about that.
I've said this a bunch of times on the podcast, but I've talked to people who've joined the military and it's been like the best decision they ever made. And then I've talked to people where it's the opposite. You know, they hated it. One last thing. Okay. Meat sauce nachos.
Easiest thing in the world. It's a banger. 100%, 10 out of 10, 5 stars.
Tony, I want to see the universe for you so badly, where you open up, where you defy your parents' wishes. You open your own Mexican Italian fusion restaurant. You date whoever you want. Such a beautiful life awaits you should you make your own decisions. I do see it.
All right, check it out. Guido beans.
What is it?
Guido beans.
Guido bees?
And I don't know. Guido beans. Like, because Guido is like an Italian stereotype name. Guido. It's an Italian name or whatever the fuck. And then beans, because beaners. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Guido beans. I don't know.
Are you allowed to say that?
Absolutely, I am. 100%.
All right. I'll take your word for it. Tony, is there anything else you want to say to the people with the computer before we go?
I mean, just to reiterate, if you're going to join the military, the Navy and the Marine Corps, don't do it.
Good to know.
That's pretty much it.
Dude, watch after this, they're going to make me read a fucking ad for the U.S. military or something like that. I swear to God.
I wouldn't doubt it.
All right, take care, Tony.
Hey, you as well. Appreciate it.
All right, I'm trying to think of one more. Veal burrito. Guido beans. I'm there. Hi there.
Hello?
Hi, who is this?
My name is Daisy Joe.
Hi, Daisy Joe. How are you?
Is this Lyle?
Yep.
Why do you sound so different? You're like
I don't know how to
mom.
answer that
sorry.
question, really. I don't. If I had an answer for you, I would tell you, but I don't have an answer.
I'm so sorry. I just said you're like my mom.
What's your Daisy Joe? What's going on, Daisy Joe? How's life?
Life exists. We're here, you know.
Okay.
I have a story to tell you.
Okay, you have a story to tell me. What's the story?
So, when I was like 18 or 19, I was dropping out of college, and that was like a huge deal with like my family, because they like forced me to like go live with this other family. So I was like making everybody mad in the world. So I think this is like a really big deal, like crazy big thing in my life. It's really not.
Okay,
But
so
like,
your parents were
14-hour
kind of forcing you to drop out. It wasn't really your decision.
No, they forced me to go to school. Me dropping out was like a whoa kind of thing, you know?
What is a whoa kind of thing?
Yeah, it was pretty low. Like, big
All
deal.
right. Okay.
So I feel like I'm going through the hardest part of my life, right? It's not.
Mhm.
But I think that because I'm 18. And I'm driving on like the longest highway like in the world, right? And this man jumps in front of my car, and I thought it was a deer. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like 3 a.m. So I stop and I turn around. And first I start cussing him out, and then I realize he's crying, and he has mud up to his chest. He only has shorts on, like cargo shorts on, with bale twine hanging, like pulling his pants up. And he starts crying about how his wife left him because he's addicted to porn. And he cheated on his wife with porn. And I'm like super freaked out, so I like throw him some water and some chips. And he wants me to give him a ride, but I'm like, no, because I'm an 18-year-old girl and you're an old naked man. So I let him ride on top of the car.
Okay,
Like,
hold on. I'm
hold
sorry.
on to
You
it. You
okay?
almost
You 1 second. You thought you hit a deer, and it turned out you hit a naked man. And so you
No,
stopped.
I almost hit him. I came really, really close.
Okay, so you thought you hit him, so you pulled over to go talk to him.
Yeah, I was going to cuss him out. But then I started feeling bad for him.
Okay, and you let him ride. So you almost hit this guy, and then you stopped and went to get out of your car just to yell at this guy for being in the middle of the street. And then you see that he's fully he's
I didn't
100%
get out.
naked. All right.
No, he has shorts on. They're just hanging off his body. He's got nothing but a, like, bale
All right.
twine.
All right. All right. So then
You know
you
what
let him
bale
ride on
twine
the
is?
top of your car.
Yeah, because I haven't watched enough true crime shit yet, I guess.
Okay.
It doesn't, the wild doesn't stop there. I sang hymnals to him, too.
What is the climax of this story? How does this end?
So I dropped him off at this gas station in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. And I'm like, you need to stay here because somebody in the morning, like, you could go to like a police station. Maybe you could, find some kind of humanitarian resources, a shelter, your wife, I don't know. So I'm driving off, and there's a semi coming. And as I'm driving away, he's like crying on the steps. And then I see him stand up as the semi's coming, and he runs out in front of it. And like, I didn't actually see him go splat, but I heard the like agonizing scream. And then I saw the semi coming, and then I floored it. I was going like 120 because I didn't want to see it happen. I was just like, I know what 2 + 2 is,
Dude, what? Wait,
And that's
okay.
kind of crazy.
All right. So you dropped this guy off at a gas station. He's a complete stranger. He's crying. He's basically naked. And then you drop him off and you're like, "Look, man, I don't know you. I can't really help you that further, but like stay here and, wait until the morning. You can find someone to help you." And then you drive away. And then as you're driving away, you see him run and jump in front of a semi-truck and get hit.
Yeah. Well, I looked at that very last second. That could have been like super traumatizing, but it wasn't. I was looking at the road and I was flooring it, so
Okay.
it wasn't too disgusting or anything.
What do you make of this situation here? How did this affect you in any way, or what's your observation here?
I do too damn much for people. I do too damn much. That's how I get in all my trouble. I just do too damn much for people that
Okay.
I do not need to be doing that,
Okay,
I
what do
just
you
left them on the side of the road.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Why do you feel like what makes you feel like you do too much for people?
Because that could have gone like so bad. He could have killed me, bro. He could have actually murdered me.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't. He murdered himself.
He did. He murdered himself.
Which is like the best case scenario, almost.
I don't know if it's the best case scenario, but it is what happened.
If somebody was going to die, it's the best case scenario.
Okay. So, how old are you now?
Huh?
I said, how old are you
now? How old am I now?
Yeah.
I'm 22.
All right. So this happened 4 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. And you felt as though the lesson you learned from it was that you do too damn much for people.
That's right.
And contemporarily,
like, the oxygen mask thing.
Yes, put on yours before you help others. And there's a lot in that philosophy. So today, this having happened 4 years ago, do you still feel as though you do too much for people?
No.
Okay.
I think I stopped doing that.
Okay.
I think I do other stupid shit now, but I don't do that.
Okay, what made you want to stop doing too much for people?
Because instead of it's honestly, I don't know why, it made me kind of think it's really not that rewarding. Because I was the last person that was ever kind to this man, I sang to him, I gave him a ride, I gave him potato chips and water, and then none of that mattered, He still jumped in front of a fucking truck. It doesn't feel that good to just be doing shit for people when you don't have your own shit figured out,
It's an interesting way to think about it. So yeah, okay, so you were telling me that at that time you were having to drop out of school, even though you wanted to go to school, and you didn't feel as though you had your life together. Correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah, straight out of high school. So
all right. And so you helped out this guy by letting him ride on top of your car and singing him lullabies and getting him to a place where he could at least get some somewhere better than the middle of the street.
Well, yeah, and it's in southern Arkansas too, so it was fields.
Okay,
fields and fields.
So stick with me for a second. And you now feel as though you need to work on figuring out your own life before you help other people.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you feel like you have yourself... And look, nobody ever has themselves fully together, but do you feel as though you're personally at a better place now than you were then?
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel as though you have any desire to help people? Let's say that something like that happened to you now. Would you not have helped that guy if that happened now?
I probably honestly would have called the police station, and that's what would have been me helping, or something like that,
Sure.
Or if there's a shelter nearby or something, some kind of something, not me.
Okay. I get it. I understand. Look, you're an 18-year-old girl, and this guy's, a random guy on the side of the road. I understand your apprehensions in this. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know to what degree you're obligated to help other people, especially if you feel as though you might be at risk. Yeah, you do the best you can, right? How do you feel like you're gonna approach the world moving forward? Do you feel a desire to help people, or do you sort of feel like it's better for you to just completely focus on yourself?
I feel like there's ways you can help people without like getting balls deep in it, you know?
Sure.
Like,
What
I
would you
feel
say
like
those
kind
ways
of,
are?
like, I don't know. Like, I used to pick up people, like even before that. I like had somebody with me, or like a knife or something. I like pick people up on the side of the road all the time, like whatever. Like, that's so, which I know that's like such a obvious, it's like a lame ass example, but like, I don't know. Like, I do like helping people. Like, I want to, after the season of my job ends, I'm going to go to nursing school. That's a good, healthy way to help people.
I agree.
I
think so. That's a bit more of a controlled environment for helping people than the side of the road in Arkansas.
True. You are correct.
Well, I'm glad that you have a sort of future plan for you to, help other people in a more controlled way. You bring up an interesting kind of moral dilemma that I'll have to think about. Daisy, is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
Don't pick up naked ass dudes on the side of the road, and put your own mask on before you try to help other people, or you'll die or something, or you might not die. You might see somebody else die, and that's weird.
Thanks for calling, Daisy Joe.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Bye-bye. I just have to say, the call screener wrote down for her, Daisy Joe has a story about seeing a guy commit suicide, says it's funny and light. I guess that was, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I get it. I'm not gonna say I don't get it. There is when you pick up a naked man from the street, you're running into there's some risk there. Undeniably, you can't deny that risk. But is it worth the risk to help another person? I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that. But we'll see what happens to me next time I'm put in a situation like that. Hi.
Hello?
How are you?
Man, I'm good, Lyle. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm trying to be conscious of the fact that I exist on the earth right now.
That's beautiful. I'm working on the same thing, and mostly it's from listening to your show and trying to be more open and honest about my feelings and my situation with myself and the people around me.
Wow,
it's
that's
been huge
a lot.
for me to start that.
That's a lot. That's spiritual.
I would agree. I mean, I've been listening to your show for like, I don't know, probably two years or so now. And, I hadn't really done much podcast listening before that. And now I listen to multiple podcasts like Theo Vaughn's Weekend is great and some other ones that I really enjoy. But yours really helped with that personal, people really open up on this show, and it's helped me open up to myself and to my family and to my coworkers about things that before I would just not communicate about.
That's so fascinating to me, man, because I was thinking about this the other day. I really when I started my whole adventure on the internet, I wanted to be a comedian, and I did that for a long time, and I wanted to make things that were just like expressly funny. And now I've like accidentally created fucking Gecko Oprah, for better or worse. And I don't know. I guess I'm glad to hear that it's helped you out in what seems to be a pretty profound way. What
it has helped. It's also been negative because it's brought out a lot of like, when you're open and honest with yourself, that can be, very intense and very dark at times, to just like take your situation as it is and try and be objective and, really tell yourself what's going on.
Yes.
So I've been struggling with that too, but it's good and bad, because then you can try and rise above and grow from the things that are possible to grow from.
Man, you should be the therapy Gecko.
Oh man, I love your show. I love all the guests you bring on, and I definitely would love to like do something like that, but I'm so busy.
Well,
and
listen. Enough about me. I want to know about you, Jordan. You're telling me a whole bunch of stuff out here. All right, so I don't even know where to start. Give me a minute. So you said you faced yourself, and that was negative. How was it negative?
Well, I'm about to turn 30, and there's certain aspects of my life that I thought I would either have not accomplished, but kind of have a roadmap to success for by the time I was 30. That some of those things I haven't even started, and some things I'm working hard and doing my thing, but talking about like retirement and trying to build like a network of different means of income, because one single income really just does not fucking do it anymore. So you have to try and increase, not just your one revenue stream and get a raise, but you need a side hustle. Everybody needs a fucking side hustle these days to survive.
So you're facing yourself, and you're looking at your situation, and you feel as though what? Like you haven't accomplished the things you hoped you would accomplish by now, or you haven't set yourself up for success in the way you hope you would?
Yeah, not accomplishments. It's more of like setting myself up for success. Like, there's certain situations that I deal with on a day-to-day basis that, I feel like I shouldn't have to. Not that I'm better than, or that, we just, I put in, into my career a lot, and I make really good food, and I make good money, but things are just so much more expensive and harder to attain in this day and age, than they were even just a couple years ago. So I haven't gotten raises, in going with the rise of cost of living. So it's just difficult just to hang on to the same exact standard of living.
Yes, the economy is bad. That's my only analysis. That's my complete and utter analysis of the economy, because I have no idea how the world works. But yes, no, it is fucked, and things are getting a lot more expensive.
And smarter people than us can tell us why. We can just say economy bad.
Yes, sure. All right, so tell me, it sounds like you're in this very lifey, spiritually space, and you've been struggling with things not being as sufficient as you thought they were. What are some of the positives that you've been
I have a beautiful family, and I have grown so much over the past few years in my skill sets, and I'm a chef, and I've learned so many different techniques over the past few years, and I really have grown in the regional cuisines that I know and the different ingredients that I know off the top of my head. I'm able to put different dishes together based on like different ingredients I've already tasted, and I can do that in my mind, as opposed to not knowing how, different things taste and kind of having like question marks, if that makes sense. You can kind of put the pieces together because you have more of a palate, and that's been a huge ride for me over the past few years, just that accumulation of knowledge.
What kind of chef
things are good and bad.
Do you work at like a restaurant of some kind, or a food truck, or
Yeah,
a lemonade
I
stand?
run 2 different restaurants. Yeah, I wish I ran a lemonade stand. I run 2 different restaurant kitchens. One of them pretty laid back, but one of them pretty busy. It's just managing people. Basically, kitchen workers are hard workers, and it's the backbone of society, but they don't make that much money. So like, I have people that I can't pay that high of a wage, so I lose quality people constantly to new opportunities. So it's just a revolving door of people that you train and leave and train and leave, and it's just how it is, though. You get used to it. It's crazy.
You said you wanted to talk. You said specifically that on this thing that you wanted to talk about what you deal with on a day-to-day basis. Was there anything in particular that you had in mind?
Yeah, definitely. If you go out to a restaurant, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but if you're at a restaurant and you're frustrated with the staff, keep it to yourself. We're already doing the best that we can generally. Not everyone is, but most of us are doing the best that we can, and we have minimal labor that we're allowed to use. You're like, oh, well, why aren't there enough people here? Well, it's because my boss said I can only have this much labor on my clock ever. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me, please. My boss is telling me what to do, and we all do the best that we can. And if you want to eat food that you didn't cook, you got to wait, and you have to be humble, or you got to go home and cook your own food. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know. It's getting food. I will say the way that we get food nowadays is always at least faster than how we got food before. We had to actually kill chickens ourselves, and extrapolate their organs, and pray to God to smite them with thunder to cook it. And now you just kind of yell at a guy and he brings you mozzarella sticks. So I think that this system we have right now, even though some people think it's insufficient, I think it's pretty better than what we had before, even though the economy... Actually, no, I was going to say, even though the economy is worse now than it was then, I don't know anything about history or the universe, but it's probably better than it was back when we were hunting things. There wasn't even money then.
Man, other than that, I would like to tell, a story about a dishwasher that I had.
Oh, sure. Let's do that before we go.
Right on. I worked downtown. I had a really cool dishwasher, and he was most definitely a crackhead, but he was a great guy. He just happened to smoke crack and come to work basically every day. But he would come to work every day in a 3-piece suit, dress pants, button-up shirt, and a tie, sometimes a vest. And he would wash dishes in this super busy downtown restaurant and crush it every day. And he was amazing, other than the fact that he would leave and do some drugs and then come back to work. But he would do this art, and last time I saw him, he was downtown, and he was selling his art on the street, and he was making money. And freedom, if you're out there, keep doing your thing.
Wow. It sounds like crack is the best thing that ever happened to that guy. It empowered him to do all these things.
I sure hope so. I hope he keeps going on. Maybe not doing the crack, but hopefully doing his art.
Look, here's the thing. It's probably not the... It's probably not the crack that gets him through the day, but it's the one variable I can think of.
We all got to have something, man. I wouldn't. I'm born and raised in Memphis. I have seen the spiral of the drug epidemic personally. I went to public school, man. People start doing crack in like fucking middle school, dude. I had a pregnant girl in my 6th grade class. Like, this is real life. Crack is terrible. Don't do crack. Don't do heroin. Love your friends. Tell them to stop if they're doing crazy shit.
I hope that that's on the menu of your restaurant. You know how they have like the about section? You should put that on there.
Which part? Don't do crack?
I already forgot it. Don't do crack. That's good.
We'll listen to it maybe later. Love you all.
Thanks, Jordan. Take care, man.
But I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything that
Appreciate
you do.
you too, man.
Keep doing it as long as it fulfills you. Bye.
I'm going to try. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you, man. Well, I mean, I don't know. I had a friend who smoked crack once, and he said it was pretty good. So, take that for whatever you will. Hello?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm a Gecko on the computer. How's life going?
It's teetering right now, my friend. Teetering.
Why is it petering?
Well, it just feels like my world's kind of crushing around me simply because I'm in a dilemma where I run the family business, and my pops is getting old and he's getting ready to retire, and he's leaning towards, or not leaning towards, but he's planning on giving this to me, and I'm just not feeling it. Not anymore. I've done it for too long, and the only problem with me leaving is that if I leave, the door's closed, and essentially I screw over my dad. So I don't know what to do.
Okay, so you're telling me that your father has this repair shop, he is retiring, and either you take over the business or the business closes.
Essentially.
I'm going to give you my opinion immediately. It sounds like this is totally his problem, dude. This is not your problem at all. This is your dad's business.
So,
this is your dad's. I'll hear you out. What were you going to say?
well, so the only problem is that I'm going to be leaving this to go do essentially the same thing, but I'm just going to get paid more.
Okay.
That's
Great.
That's my main guilt, I guess, because like some of these spots, they're literally like less than a mile away from here. So I would physically pass by this location, and I don't know. It's kind of tough to think about.
Kevin, you're your own person. Okay, you don't owe anything to your dad. Your dad's business is his responsibility. So you have your own life and you make your own decisions that are the best for you, not just to service your parents. Tell me about your dad's reaction to all this. What is he doing? Is he pressuring you any which way?
Well, so essentially I've been working here since I was essentially 9 years old. Just helping around or whatever. So it's always been the idea. He's always put it into my mind that this was going to be mine. The only problem is now that I see once I get older and stuff is his business mentality just isn't there. So when I see that, and I see other shops in the same field, doing these crazy things and advancing and everything, and I feel like we're constant, I told him that, and he kind of blew up at me because, like I said, it's a horrible reality, but the reality is that if I leave, that's it. So he kind of blew up at me and essentially kind of tried guilting me into it by telling me that. But the way he treats me and the way kind of how it goes, just I could be working a lot less and getting paid at least a little bit more or a lot more, depending on what specifically or where I specifically choose to go.
Okay, so you told your father that. I'm sorry. Did you say that your dad has business practices that you don't like?
Not business practices. He just doesn't have. Well, I mean, like, he's a smart man. This isn't his first business that he's had. It's just that, like, I feel like he's gotten to the point where he got bored of the business, and he's no longer trying to put more money into it. It's just whatever comes out of it, and that's it. Which, in my mind, you have to put money in. You have to spend money to make money. You can't just be at a constant, just like anything else. You have to put the effort in to get something out.
Okay. Well, I mean, Kevin, what I said, it still stands firm. Your dad not having a plan for, his business opening or failing. I mean, that's his problem. It says here you're 21 years old. You're an adult. You're your own person. You can still love your father. You could still have a great relationship with your father, but your father can't dictate what you do with your life and the decisions that you make. And you can't let him do that at this point.
Right. I mean, that's what I've been thinking too. And like my tool guys that come, because I have like tool guys that come and like my Snap-on and my Matco and my Cornwell, they all come and I've had the same conversation with them just because they see all the same people in my field. So maybe they have like job openings or somebody's looking for a job, and I talk to them and they all tell me the same thing, but it just feels like something in my heart or like something is just like stopping me. I know, like, mentally, I know that I should like advance myself. I should be better for myself.
Well,
but I don't know what's stopping me.
Let me ask you this: Have you ever gone against your father? Have you ever entered into a conflict with him or disagreed with him, or I guess I don't want to say stood up to him because that seems a little too dramatic, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. And to be honest with you, like, not really. No, I don't know. Just how my family grew up. Just what my dad says is what my dad says. Essentially, just something. I don't know. It's not like he beat me or anything. It's not like I was abused. It's just something that like was torn. Like it's just something like it's something that's a part of me. What my dad says is what my dad says, whether I like it or not.
Yeah, and you know what? Listen, while you're growing up, when you're 16, before you're 18, and any time after the age of 18, where you find yourself financially dependent upon him, yeah, that's true. He's your dad. He sets the rules, whatever. But this is not the case anymore. You're 21 years old. You have your own skills. You make your own money. You're your own person. And I feel like you might be having this block because you've always lived by the philosophy that what dad says goes. But now you are in a position where you have transcended that. You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. And now I see it as an opportunity to have a rebirthing of your relationship with your dad that is based less upon, something authoritative or businessy or anything like that, and based solely upon he's your father and you love him. And that's the foundation of your relationship, more so than anyone having control over anyone else.
Right. I mean, but I guess my other problem is my only other problem is recently, because I told him this like maybe 3-4 days ago. Like when I finally built up the courage to talk to him, he kind of started giving me the cold shoulder. So I can only imagine if I really left. You see what I mean? That's my other thing that.
Well, Kevin, here's the your dad needs to grow up. I don't know what else to say. I mean, if he's giving you the cold shoulder, if he's being a baby about it, at a certain point, man, it's I know it's hard because you don't want your dad to ignore you. but you can't bend to that. I mean, that's fucked up that he's giving you the cold shoulder. That's not right. And you can't be out here rewarding that kind of behavior by giving into it.
Right.
And eventually years will go by, your dad will get over it. You know, but you need to be okay with him giving you the cold shoulder.
I mean, I knew this is essentially what everybody I've spoken to have told me. So it's the universe, you know. I got to do what I got to do.
Well, Kevin, good luck to you, man, and congratulations to you for finally taking this big step toward becoming your own person. I think it's important. It's important you do this now because you need to free yourself from your father so that you can move on with the growth in your life. And I know it's a tough thing to do, so I'm excited for you that you're going to do it.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, that means a lot, you know. I've been trying to call you for the past couple of days since it happened.
Kevin, is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
Yeah. If everybody can look in their closets, in their attics, in their mom's houses for Guitar Hero guitars and dongle sleeves, they're having a very hard time trying to play some goddamn Guitar Hero. So if you guys could do me that favor, that'd be great.
Yeah, if anyone can find this man any Guitar Hero or Rock Band instruments, please let us know so we can get into them.
Yeah. So yeah, post them online, please, and don't charge $150. All right, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm just trying to play Rock Band. I'm not trying to start a business.
Thank you for calling, Kevin.
Thank you.
That's a tough situation, having to stand up to your parents. I'm glad that the people around when he said this is what everyone's been telling me. I'm glad the people around him have been telling him this true, and I think people know at this point. You know, it sucks to hear that his dad is being a baby about it. And that's fucking really hard, because I think it's interesting from our perspective, from the outsider perspective. This feels very easy. This feels like the notion of, okay, my father doesn't control me, comes very easy when you're looking at it from an outside perspective. But I'm really thinking about it from Kevin's position, where, you know, he's 21 years old. So for 21 years, his brain has been fully conditioned that what his father says goes. And now he, you know, it's not as easy for me as, for me to say, oh, well, your dad doesn't own you. It's like, great, that's easy to say. But the reality is this guy's got to now be tasked with breaking 21 years of conditioning in order to move forward, which is tough. I think he'll do it. I don't know. I never know if people are going to actually do any of these things. But I hope he does, and good luck to him.